Hey, folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Wednesday, March 9th, 2011. Well, folks, today is the 2-year anniversary of the market bottom in March 2009. Again, the bull market is now 2 years old. What's the market doing today? Well, overall, we have a market that is on the flat line. Dow Jones Industrial Average down about 2 points. Nasdaq's down a little bit more, 17.5 or 0.5%, and the S&P 500 is down about 3 points or 0.25%. Bottom line is, it has been a very active, wild intraday session, as you can see by the intraday chart here of the SPY. Now, again, this is the Spider S&P 500 ETF, symbol SPY, and what you're seeing right here, folks, is, again, we had a gap down this morning, a little bit of a flush, then buyers stepped in, pushing the market up, a reversal took place, we made new lows, a reversal again took place to the upside, and now we're selling off a little bit into the afternoon session. Volume today, for the most part, is pretty solid, especially early on with the volatility. Volume, again, remains very good. Now, why are the reversals going on? Well, you have a lot of different things bubbling up in the market. And again, it really is one of the more active intraday action-packed days based on the swings we're seeing. But what you're seeing across the globe, obviously problems still in Libya. Civil war continues to rage there. Everyone's a little bit worried about Saudi Arabia on Friday. Now, why is Saudi Arabia a big day on Friday for them? Because there's been a call for protests called a Day of Rage, and that's the day that there's supposed to be massive protests. Now, who knows if it'll turn out to be anything more than a couple people out in the streets, or maybe it'll be millions. We do not know. But I think that's why you're really not seeing any significant pullback in oil. And if I flip to the USO chart, this is the United States Oil Fund symbol USO. You can see oil is basically, it opened higher this morning, has come off those highs, but net, right here from where you closed yesterday, take a look at this, folks. You're basically flat. There's no real change in oil from where we were yesterday, even though we have come off the highs at least. You're still not seeing any significant selling because, again, I think everything hinges on the Middle East in terms of Saudi Arabia. What's going to happen? In my opinion, if you have big protests on Friday, you could see oil up $3 to $5 on Friday. If there's nothing, if it's very minor, oil could really collapse back down, because I think if you don't have protests on Friday, everyone's going to say, listen, if this is the big day of rage that's been called for across the globe in Saudi Arabia for big protests in that country, and if you don't get a big response, then chances are nothing's going to end up happening there in the short term anyways, and you should see oil come down pretty dramatically. I think as much as $3 to $5 drop on Friday is possible if it doesn't turn out to be a big event. So really everything was in regards to oil is hinging on that Friday in Saudi Arabia, and with that the markets are as well, because the markets again will respond to a lower oil price. If the USO drops if oil drops $3 and the USO drops 50, 75, a dollar in terms of oil price drop, you will see a market that goes higher on that, as oil prices obviously are, a higher oil price is a negative for the overall market. All right, let's go back to the SPY here. And again, you can see the markets are now floating. We had a lot more volatility in the first half of the day. It looks like we're kind of quieting down here. Volume is getting a little bit lower as we kind of enter the second half of lunch into the early afternoon session. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if the markets float up a little bit into the close today. Being the 2-year anniversary, oftentimes the powers that be will want to have a positive day, because on the news tonight they're going to talk about the 2-year anniversary. And generally, the perception would be it would be positive for the global picture and the domestic picture here in the United States if the markets were actually up today, or at least flat. So right now we're on the flattish to slightly negative side, maybe a little bit of a push into the close. We'll have to watch. Again, a lot will be determined by oil prices in the afternoon session as well. All right, what are some key movers today? Let's talk some action here. What's been moving? I have to say one of the stocks that caught my attention today was Amazon. This is, again, Amazon.com, symbol AMZN. Why this caught my attention was because of the key move today. Now, take a look at this. We talked about this in previous videos here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Notice how 3 days ago you came down and hit the double bottom. If I zoom in, you can see it even better. See, 3 days ago, this is the daily Amazon chart. 1, 2, 3 days ago right here. You came in and tagged that double bottom, and you got a $3 bounce off of that intraday. It was a beautiful play to the long side. We talked about it in the intraday stock chat. Now, by the way, folks, just a reminder, the intraday stock chat, the Research Center, 2 different services offered here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. We do have a free trial, a 1-week free trial available for both. Research Center, if you go to InTheMoneyStocks.com, you can check it out. Again, you can see everything listed under the Research Center is included in that research center, $49.99 per month. And remember, there's a 1-week free trial you can take as well on that. Again, no need. You can cancel before it ends if you do not want to stay. But again, we believe it's such a great thing, you'll be sticking around for years. We have literally clients that have been with us since the beginning of our existence as a company, and they're continuing to follow us day in, day out. We believe that's the majority of people out there. In any case, notice how today Amazon looked like it was going to break down. We actually broke this level again, but by late morning, Amazon had reversed and now is trading back above. So this support level continues to hold in a major way on Amazon. If you close below this at some point, I think Amazon's going to collapse all the way down to the 200 moving average. So this is a major pivotal level. You must pay attention to this level going forward. Now, a couple other stocks in play today. Apple Computer is weak again. For the markets being kind of neutral to positive, we can take again these trend lines, we can remove them. Apple Computer on the daily, here's your daily chart on that. And again, if I zoom out, that's what the chart looks on the zoom out level for multiple years. But what we want to do is just scope in. You can see how this level right here, see this little gap right in here? That's actually where the stock stalled out on the recent move up. If we just draw a line across, gapped up a little bit, reversed, and since then it's been very, very weak. And Apple, again, is not able to really push higher. And I think Apple's a good kind of guide for the overall market activity. Notice how the markets, again, over the last 2 weeks have really stalled out and haven't been able to move back to new highs or the 52-week highs right now. And again, if we go to the spiders, I want to show you something that's very, very important to recognize. And again, our methodology is something that has now been patented in terms of being so accurate and so key. We want to teach it literally to all the average traders, all the average retail investors out there, the institutions we're consulting with, and so forth. But again, you have to recognize the action here on the daily and how important it was. One thing we talked about going back 2 weeks or so was how you had a beautiful confirmation move to the downside. Now, confirmation is one of the key things that we have developed as a company, my partner and myself. We noticed it, we recognized it, and it has been one of the largest money-making events that we have literally seen or created in years. I don't think there's anything else out there that's better, and for those of you that are members of the Research Center, I think you understand how important this is. But confirmation is a signal of a change in direction, and right here, on this day when we made the 52-week high around 134.69 on the 18th of February, the following day, which happened to be a Monday, actually I think it might have even been a Tuesday since Monday was closed, but either way, the market sold off and then you had a secondary sell-off day following. That again, based on the methodology that we utilize, is confirmation to the downside. Ever since that move, the markets have been choppy and weak, and you have not even been able to get back to this upper level. That is very, very important, folks. And again, I really won't go into teaching the confirmation signal, but if you join the Research Center, I teach it pretty much every night. Chat room, it's gone over every day, multiple times. You can learn this stuff and, again, utilize it. But one thing, again, confirmation to the downside. Since that point, look at the market. It tries to get up and then fails. Tries to get up, fails. Tries to get up, fails, and tries to get up. Now, again, a little on the weaker side today, inching down just a tiny bit on the markets overall. All right, and again, double top would be up here on the SPY. Now, a couple other stocks I do want to go over because there is a key sector that's performing well again today. This sector yesterday led the market to the rally we had, and today, again, it is doing the same thing, and that sector are the financial stocks. Financials, again, are very strong, led by Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. And again, here's the chart of Goldman Sachs on an intraday 10-minute basis. And again, the symbol here is GS. Goldman Sachs symbol GS. And notice how the gap up and surge takes place. A little bit of a sell-off. You never take out the 200 or double bottom here. And again, a move up and now a small consolidation. But either way, with the market flat to negative, you do see Goldman Sachs higher by $1.43. And this is on the back of a very solid rally yesterday that led the markets. And again, the markets were up because Bank of America yesterday came out and said, we're going to raise dividends, we're going to do a repurchase, a share repurchase. We think profits are going to grow. And that's something the market's been very nervous about because of the end of QE2. Remember, QE2 is only a couple months away, 2 to 3 months away. The market always looks out 2 to 3 months. The market never says, well, look at the data today, what are we going to do? The market is always saying, well, where is the market or what's the data in 2 to 3 months out? And what people were fearing, I think, with the financials is that QE2 has been a policy that's been very beneficial to the banks. The banks are getting a special treatment by the Federal Reserve. You getting the POMO money to them for treasuries. Remember, the treasuries are getting bought by the Federal Reserve, and that's how they're infusing the QE2 money in terms of POMO. And what they're doing is they're giving a beneficial rate to the institutions here, the banks, essentially, the financial institutions, for those treasuries. And that's why the banks are then selling them back to the Federal Reserve. So it's a beneficial policy. The cost of borrowing money from the Federal Reserve and getting money has been beneficial for them. And now that's going to come to an end in June. and people were very worried, all right, is our profits going to suffer now? The bank stocks have been blowing away profits, but is it going to end? And again, what Bank of America said yesterday, if we go to that chart, BAC is the symbol on Bank of America. You could see the monster rally yesterday, but the key was it doesn't look like, from what Bank of America is saying, that it's going to be of any consequence whatsoever. They're saying they're still going to grow. So Bank of America having a very solid day here. Again, a little bit to the downside after such a big update, but if you look at JP Morgan, symbol JPM, nice move up as well. And again, these stocks, the financials, continue to be the strongest out there. You do have pockets of strength in other areas, but for the most part, we are seeing a strength in the financials majority. Now, the other stock that I want to mention here, there's a couple more I'm going to mention in this video, IBM. IBM alone is making up for plus 30 points or so in the Dow. I mean, a huge portion. Now, remember, the Dow right now, let me just give you a quote on the Dow. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is right now trading up 11 points. So the Dow is actually positive right now. And if you took away IBM, the Dow would probably be down about 20 points right now. So that much of the Dow is responsible for or from IBM. IBM is up $4.50 today. That's a huge move. And by the way, this is choppy bullish consolidation right here on the symbol IBM for IBM, obviously, International Business Machines. But in any case, this is a major player today. One thing that I find very fascinating is take a look at this. Little bit of a double top pierce right up here on the charts, and right now we're trading just above it, but you have pulled off that double top. Pivot double top from the 8th of February was made before some pullback choppy action, and now IBM again back into that double top, even a little bit above it at this point. All right. Now, last but not least, I do want to cover a couple other things here. Obviously, one stock that I did an article on the blog, and you can always follow our free Rant and Rave blog. And by the way, folks, I am on Twitter. I opened up a Twitter account recently. You can follow me on Twitter. I tweet throughout the day, little tidbits of economic, financial wisdom, and so forth, and different stocks that I'm following. And you can follow me, Gareth Soloway, GarethSoloway, on Twitter. So I encourage you to follow me on Twitter. And again, I'll give you guys updates throughout the day. Even at night, if I end up doing anything at night, it's always up there for a little bit of action-packed. And obviously, it's not what the Research Center is. Research Center is far beyond that. But a little bit of an inside track on what I'm thinking throughout the day, throughout the night on Twitter for you guys to follow, all right? Chevron I wanted to talk about here, folks, first of all. Chevron has a symbol CVX. Now, Chevron's important for a couple different reasons here. Number one, this is called a rounded top. Rounded tops are usually bearish. What it shows is a stalling out, and actually I believe distribution is going on here at the top, where financials, the large institutions, which are usually financials and hedge funds out there, are unloading into the amateur buying. Now, retail investors have put more money to work in the first 2 months than in many, many years. In fact, since 2004. So it tells you the small investor is coming back into the market. The contrarian indicator there is that when the small guy comes back in a major way, usually the market's reversed to the downside. Makes sense, right? We've seen the markets get weak over the last couple weeks, and now all of a sudden we're hearing about the retail investor buying in. It's distribution, folks. So rounded tops are bearish. In addition, if you go to the weekly chart here, folks, take a look at the weekly chart. Perfect double top from 2008. It is my belief that Chevron is making a short-term pivot top and possibly even a longer-term top, as we could see a pullback all the way down below $100. Chevron today is getting hit a little bit down $1.38, but I do believe this is a major double top. Look at the run it's had, and now it should see a good $3 to $5 pullback in excess of where it is right now, which is about 102.40. So again, I'm expecting a move down below 100, maybe as low as 96.50 or 96.75. That is a good possibility. Again, you can always follow the Rant and Rave blog. A lot of these articles, great articles on the Rant and Rave blog. It's free at inthemoneystocks.com. All right, so that's one stock I wanted to mention to you guys. Again, I think it's a very, very key rounded top. We're also seeing that kind of double top on the weekly chart from 2008 highs, something to watch in the coming days, coming weeks on that stock. All right, other than that, I think that's about all I want to discuss today. It's been a pleasure, as always, to be with you guys. And again, we look forward to continuing to have you follow us. Join the Research Center. At least take the free trial, folks. It's there for free. I mean, it's free. Who doesn't like free things, right? In any case, follow me on Twitter, Gareth Soloway, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.